Good afternoon and welcome to episode number 5 of Golden Droplets. Today and for the next few episodes, I will be talking about Excel for geologists. I start as usual sharing my screen. And today we are going to go through the following steps: how to convert the data to a table and the usefulness of doing this thing. And this is something that I believe it would be a surprise for you. Then we're going to show you how to name the table, how to freeze panels, and two examples of the usefulness of converting the data to a table, which is the dynamic expansion and the filtering of data. We will start with a data set, and you will hear me saying this many times. Any processing that you do with Excel, always keep the original data in a separate tab. That way, no matter what transformations or changes you do to the table during the processing of the data, you can always come back to the original data. I also, in this case, I'm going to split my data set into two groups, and I will explain you why I'm doing this later when I'm going to be talking about the conversion of the data to a table. So first of all, let's take all this data, the upper split, copy it, go to the next tab, which is convert to table, and paste. And to convert to table, there are several ways, but the easiest one is just to click Control T as table. The program will show you the data range. It's okay. It will tell you that the table has headers. You click OK. And just with that, you have converted your data to a table. Now, there are many different uses for this thing, and we're going to show you 2 or 3 of them right now. One of the first easiest thing to see, if you scroll down the screen, you will see that yes, you're going to lose that first row, but now here you have the titles of the columns. So you don't need to come back and forward to remember which elements are you working with. There is, of course, another way of freezing both the first row and the first column, which is better because at this moment, if I move to the right, I will lose the column of the samples. So I don't know which sample is this. So the best way of doing this is you click on the next cell below the first row and to the right of the first column. Once you are here, you go to View, freeze pans, freeze pans. And now the first column and the first row, they are both freeze. So you all the time you know which sample and which element you're talking about. Now, let's go back to why we work with tables instead of just the numbers. Let's say that I want to add a new table that is the product of 2 elements, just an example. So let's say I take this element here and I will multiply it by that element there. And you will see that when I click enter, I will get not only the value of that cell, we get the value for the whole column, which save you a lot of time. Now, let us say that I would like to make a graphic. Let's say I will select the silver and the gold. I'm doing that by pressing Control and clicking on the column. I have the 2 columns selected. Then I go to Insert, Graphic. Let's say I'm gonna use a scatter plot, like this. And I get my representation of silver against gold. Now, just remember this picture. Now I'm going to add more data to this column, which is normally what happens. You're receiving every month or so, you're receiving new results from the lab. So you want to add those new data, those new results to this table. So when you're working in this format of table, this graphic will automatically upgrade as soon as you add data to the table. Let's show it. Let's go back to this column here, the split, and I will add all those data just by copy, coming back to convert to table. At the end, I just press Ctrl V, and now if I go back to my image, you will see I have all these new points that were not there before. So it's very fast and easy to upgrade graphics. Now, the other important or useful thing that we're going to talk today are the slicers. And for that, again, I will go to my original data, copy it. I go here to slicers, paste. Okay, I convert this to a table. Again, Ctrl T. It's converted to a table. And now I go to insert. And in insert, I'm going to go to slicers. Here, I'm going to choose a couple of elements, or 2 or 3. The problem with the slicer is that they generate windows that cover part of the data, which is not very useful, but we can manage that. So let's say I'm going to use silver and gold. When I click here, I will get 2 little columns, 2 little windows that are the slicers for silver and gold. And you probably have heard that there is always a good correlation between gold and silver, which is true for most of the time, but there are cases where this is not the case, where there is a different correlation between gold and silver. This slicer allows us with a few clicks to figure out if that is the case or not. So let's say that I will go and select here the values of gold that are above 1 gram. So I just click here, go to the end, shift, click, and I select all the values of gold that are above 1 gram per ton, which are here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 samples. Down here it says 8 of 99 records have value of gold above 1. Now, if I go to the silver and I do the same thing and say, okay, I'm going to select the highest values of silver. I don't know, those, you see no value of gold are shown, because in this case, there is a reverse correlation between silver and gold. And I will show it to you. I will eliminate the filter and I go back here and select the lower values. And here you see we have 5 samples that have gold with low values of silver. So just by doing this, you know that you have a reverse correlation between gold and silver in this data set. Imagine that you have and I will show you this probably in the next video when we're going to be dealing with drilling data. You have a table that has the holes and have the values, and you would like to know which holes have values of gold above 1 gram. So you just select here in this slicers the value of gold, and it would show you which holes, in this case, which samples contain the combination of gold and silver, and you can add as many slicers as you want. Again, I will stop now because it's better if you have time to practice these little tricks. The idea is I'm going to have this video today and maybe another one where I will show more trades and tricks of the trade for Excel that are very useful in geology. And then I will have 1 or 2 more videos on how I use Excel to process specifically geochemical data, but it can be used for anything. Once again, thank you for listening. Please subscribe. If we get above 1,000 subscribers, I can do these things on live, which means that I can respond to questions while doing the presentation or immediately after the presentation. This was Golden Droplets, episode number 5. Have a great day.